Hello everyone and welcome! Thanks for joining me today. If you're not already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button down here and be sure to hit thumbs up. Really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for supporting my channel and welcome. I am in a new location here that you probably don't recognize. This is the basement of my mother's condo. Now she's been here for probably about 15 years now, and we have a little bit of a problem with the concrete here. So the concrete basement floor is creating a lot of dust and chalkiness. So I don't know if you've ever seen this with some types of concrete. You'll get this very fine powder. Now the technical term for this, I believe, is called Evarescence. Yeah, something like that. It's basically where you have a moisture problem underneath the concrete, and the capillaries and little tiny passageways inside the concrete start wicking moisture up through the concrete. So in the summertime, it's over 70% humidity down here in the basement. And what's happening here is that the surface concrete is flaking off. Now that's not good for moisture, it's not good for the health of the concrete, and it's certainly not good for the health of the air, because as you walk around, a lot of that silicate and everything gets kicked up into the air. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be sealing the concrete. The first thing we want to do is just clean everything out and clear off the area. It's a pretty big basement, so we moved everything off to one side. I'm just going to go straight down the middle. I'm going to do this half first. Step number one, we are going to vacuum everything and get all the contaminants up. And as I was vacuuming, I also found it was a good idea to have a paint scraper, because there's little chunks of like drywall compound and everything like that that's kind of stuck to the floor. So I've just been scraping up stickers and stuff as I go. Once we do that, if you're outside, or if it's a new concrete, you may want to acid etch it using muriatic acid. That is a recommendation from the manufacturer of the sealant here, which I'll show you that in a second. So because we are indoors and in an enclosed space, I probably would not recommend doing that unless your concrete is brand new and you're working in a well-ventilated area, because that stuff can really hurt your lungs. So please be careful when you're working with acids. But I think what I'm going to do, because this is already pretty roughed up, this concrete, and it's old, it's been here for years already, so there isn't a lot of prep work we need to do besides cleaning it. On the back of the jug here, it tells us the coverage time and prep work. It says that all surfaces must be cleaned, new concrete needs to be cured, clean and etch the surface using muriatic acid etcher. And then this stuff gets absorbed into the concrete, because this is a type of sealant that actually soaks into the pores of the concrete here. So it tells you here that it actually will penetrate the surface, which is what we want to do. So this can be used interior or exterior. This is from Home Depot. This is the Bare Premium waterproofer, concrete waterproofer with no color. You can actually get this with certain tints in it if you wanted to change the color of your concrete. You can get some with stain in it as well. So that's the product we're going to be using. A 5-gallon bucket should cover 1,250 square feet is what it said on the back. We may need a couple more gallons beyond that, but we'll see how far we get. So I just need to move that heavy thing out of the way and get right into it. Do you even lift, bro? You gotta lift your workout equipment. We ain't lifting, we're lifting our workout equipment. Bend at the knees. Thank goodness this has casters, or it'd be a huge pain. Workout equipment is heavy. I don't need to lift weights. All right, now that we have that cleared out, yeah, like I said, we're gonna do half of it at a time, so that way we can move all the junk to one side of the basement, do this side, let it cure for a couple of days, move everything over to this side, and then do the other half. I want to show you a little hack with, not really a hack, just a good practice for your shop vac. So because we are vacuuming up this really fine, powdery silicate dust from the concrete, you don't want that going through the exhaust of your shop vac and blowing all over the place. Not good for your lungs. So, look in here. You can get vacuum bags for your shop vac. I've got a new filter, and the bag should capture like pretty much everything. This is a HEPA bag, so it should collect pretty much all the fine dust and everything. You can see I've been vacuuming already. I did about half the basement. it's clean. The bin for my shop vac is clean. It's collecting everything here. Brand new filter, still clean. So get vacuum bags for your shop vac. Makes cleanup a lot easier. When you hit a crack here, go this direction. You can suck up any dust that's stuck inside that crack easily. Okay, I'm done vacuuming now. The next step is going to be to clean it. So I'm going to use a push broom just to scrub all the little marks off and everything. The instructions say that you should etch the concrete so it feels rough to about 150 grit sandpaper. I checked over here. It might be a little bit rough in some areas. You can kind of see it's a little porous. I would say it's maybe equivalent to about 400 grit sandpaper. So it is smooth, but not super smooth. It's finished concrete, but what I'm going to do, because I don't want to choke to death on muriatic acid indoors, I'm going to try some vinegar. Not nearly as acidic, but I think it should be kind of a more or less neutral solution that isn't going to leave any residue behind, which is important because we want it to be a bare surface, so that way it takes and it gets absorbed. So, you know, I think I'm going to try a little test area in the corner there first, let it dry, see how it looks, and if it gets soaked into the concrete and if it sticks, and if everything's good, I'll continue on with the process. So we'll see. I don't think it's necessarily a hard recommended rule for using the acid etch, but that's more or less just for, I would say, outdoor driveways, sidewalks, patios, things like that that are exposed to the elements. We're indoors here. I want to say it's probably not necessary, but if you want to do the due diligence to do it properly, do the extra step and probably just acid etch it. But that's just, I'm going to take the risk and see it. It may not last 10 years like it says on the bottle. It might last 5. I don't know, but it's not a big deal. This is just a basement, not outdoors, not exposed to the elements. So I just want to put that disclaimer out there. I may be taking a little bit of a shortcut. All right, so I cleaned off the push broom. I vacuumed off the bristles so it's nice and clean. Notice it's got these extra stiff bristles on the inside. I think that's going to help really with the abrasion to try to get all those scuff marks off. So what I'm going to do, I've got this vinegar, and I'm just going to use a very generous amount. Start in this corner and pour some on the mop here. You can hear it sizzling. I think that's probably going to help. That vinegar is reacting to the concrete already, so that's a good sign, I think. You can hear it bubbling. Now, concrete is very basic in nature, so what we're having is, like when you mix baking soda with vinegar, it's kind of fizzy. Pretty cool, huh? May need a few more gallons of this, but let's scrub away. And I'm not going for perfection here, guys, so if there's still some scuff marks on here like that, I'll try to lighten it up as best I can, but my mother said it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not a living space down here, so just need to get it sealed. And if we ever decide to put carpet or flooring down here, it's going to be covered up anyway. Now, if you did want it perfected, you could get the sealant with a stain in it as well. A concrete stain. That's a good option. And then once this dries perfectly, we're going to wait a day, and then I'm going to apply the stuff in a corner here with a brush and see if it sticks good. I went and picked up a new floor nozzle for my shop vac here, and you can see what I'm using. It has these floor bristles on it. this is working a lot better with pickup of dust. It's brushing the floor instead of just pushing it around. My old floor nozzle was like this, which worked fine for large debris, but that fine powdery dust, this is much better. You can see an area that I vacuumed over, pretty clean, right? Here's a section I did not vacuum yet. Big difference. Get the floor brush. They're about $12 at Home Depot. Okay, I got everything washed in the basement here. I did this section yesterday. Not even 24 hours, it is completely bone dry. This concrete is like a sponge, it just soaks everything up. So I'm just gonna let this dry completely. We'll come back the next day and we'll start applying the sealant. All right, floor is dry and ready to be sprayed. You guys remember this Wagner sprayer that I showed on a previous video. I'll leave my full review of this guy in the description. You can check it out. But I think I'm gonna try to spray everything out onto the floor. I think it's gonna save a lot of time. But as a backup, I've also got a brush and roller if I wanted to apply it that way. The back of the bottle of sealant says you can apply it pretty much any way that you want. So we're gonna try this. It's a very thin liquid. I don't think I'll have to thin it or anything like that, so it should just spray just fine. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna fill up the reservoir and we'll do a little test area in the corner and see how it goes. Seems like it's going pretty good. It's gonna be a little splotchy. Have to go back and fill in the other spots that I missed, but just gonna do it one section at a time. Holding it about 2 feet away. If this doesn't work out, I'll break out the roller, but so far, seems like it's working pretty good. And this concrete is like a sponge for this stuff, it seems like. I guess I didn't really have to acid etch it after all. And this is why you might want to use like sealant that has stain in it, because if you have splotchiness like this, if you actually cared about having a nice finish, that might be a concern of yours. You can get that with tint in it, but this is completely clear. It's just like a white type of liquid. I'll show you what it looks like here. But it's gonna go and dry on clear, so that's what you're looking at. But the concrete isn't perfect, and you know what? It's a basement. She doesn't care about the look of it here, but you can see this stuff's already drying pretty quick. So I think we're gonna continue on like this. It's soaking it up like a sponge. Now, they said you need to acid etch your concrete if you splash water on it and it beads up. Then you need to acid etch it so that way the pores of the concrete can actually absorb stuff. But I did that water test and it just soaked everything up instantly. So this is a very thirsty concrete and it should take this sealant no problem. I do have a little bit of overspray on the concrete walls, but that will be okay. I'm gonna go ahead and continue this for a little while and then we'll come back to the video when I'm all done and see how it looks. And like I said, guys, if you don't have a paint sprayer, you could easily just use a roller or a paintbrush for the edges, whatever. Roller should work just fine. That didn't take long at all. It's already drying in a lot of spots. It's not as splotchy as I thought it would be once it's dry, so I think we're gonna be in good shape. We'll wait 24 hours before we walk on it and we'll check it out. Okay, this is the finished basement now. Once it dried, you can't even tell that the sealant is on there. There's no more splotchiness or anything, which is good. As soon as it dried, it went on completely clear. It looks totally normal again. So I am very happy with the results, guys. It looks like it's soaked up everything like a sponge. Just like I said, this is a very dry concrete. Never been treated before, so the extreme acid etching was not necessary. I would definitely do it on a driveway or sidewalk or something, or a patio, but basement doesn't look like it's necessary unless, you know, you drip water on it and it beads up, then you should acid etch it. But just using the vinegar was enough. Pretty smooth. It's still a little dusty, but it's got a full 48-hour cure time. However, it is completely dry to the touch, so you can walk on it. I just wouldn't put any furniture or anything like that, any heavy stuff sitting on it, but yeah, turned out pretty good. I'm happy with the results. That was the They're premium concrete and masonry waterproof protectants. So guys, if you like this video, please subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate it. It helps out the channel a lot. Leave a comment if you got any questions below. Until next time, thanks for watching.